The South Bend Tribune broke the story on Saturday night. Notre Dame quarterback Everett Golson is no longer enrolled at the university. Academic situation that has not been disclosed, the factor there. And again, Everett Golson, Notre Dame quarterback who led the Irish to the BCS National Championship game last season, no longer enrolled at the university. So we don't deal with the academic issues because they are completely unknown at this point. But we deal with the issue on the football field for Brian Kelly's team. Everett Golson is a quarterback who was a redshirt freshman, stepped in and did a remarkable job in winning 12 consecutive football games. He was not necessarily the outstanding player that he turned out to be later in the season. He really developed and progressed as the season went on. Note these statistics. In the Irish's first 6 games, Everett Golson averaged running and passing 174 yards per game, 278. He upped it by more than 100 yards per game the final 5 regular season games, and again leading the Irish to a 12-0 season. This is a guy who made plays with his feet, with his arm, really developed as a freshman. 12 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. A guy who was all over the place early in the season against teams like Navy and Purdue, but got better and better and better, more polished as a passer, more confident in the pocket, knew when to take off and run, when to scramble and look for an open receiver, when to throw the football away. 2,400 yards passing. He ran for 300 and scored 6 touchdowns rushing the football. Okay, Gunnar Kiel is a guy on the minds of all Notre Dame fans, but Gunnar Kiel has transferred to Cincinnati, and we understand, according to ESPN's Joe Shad, that Gunnar Kiel is not an option. The number 1 rated quarterback coming out of high school a couple seasons ago to go back to Notre Dame. He is entrenched at the University of Cincinnati and head coach Tommy Tuberville. Oklahoma State's Wes Lunt, a quarterback who at one point won the starting job at Oklahoma State, fell out of favor. Maybe the 6 touchdowns and 7 picks had something to do with that. He transferred from Oklahoma State, actually just left the school and is still looking for schools to go to, so he would be an option possibly to go to Notre Dame. He's very interested in Louisville as well. Wes Lunt, though, would not be able to step on the field for the Fighting Irish in 2013. That leaves us with the old reliable gunslinger Tommy Rees, a guy with not necessarily a big arm, but certainly gunslinger mentality, who's got experience and who has Brian Kelly's confidence. He's a guy that has 18 career starts at Notre Dame, coming up on his senior season, threw 20 touchdowns and 14 picks back in 2011. And as soon as, obviously, Kelly was comfortable with Golson, the much better athlete, the stronger arm, has all the tangibles over Tommy Rees. But Tommy Rees, a guy that performed pretty well in the clutch. Again, we allude to the 2011 season in which Tommy Rees threw 20 touchdowns, 14 picks. The Irish had all sorts of issues in going 7-5 that season in terms of finding the end zone. Tommy Rees made a lot of mistakes in the red zone, but he will lead a team on a drive with the game on the line. Even last season, even with the development of Golson turning into close to an elite quarterback, especially as a redshirt freshman, Tommy Rees was used quite a bit. He led the game-winning drive against Purdue, the Boilermakers, taking the Irish to the hilt. 17-17 game. Tommy Rees inserted by Kelly. There was nothing wrong with Golson physically. Rees came into the game, completed 3 consecutive passes, and got them into field goal position to win the game on the last play of the game, 20-17. Against Michigan, in a narrow 13-6 Irish win, Tommy Rees went 8 for 11 in that game, so he got substantial playing time in place of Golson there. 4 for 4 against the Stanford Cardinal, a game in which the Irish had to go to overtime and won it on a goal line stand. Tommy Rees did throw a touchdown against the Stanford Cardinal, and again, 4 for 4 passing. Another narrow win for the Irish against BYU, 17-14. Tommy Rees threw a touchdown in that game as well against the Pitt Panthers. Of course, the Irish escaped when the Panthers missed a field goal. That game went to 3 overtimes. Notre Dame won that game, and Tommy Rees against Pitt went 6 for 11. A couple other guys to keep our eyes on, in particular, Malik Zaire, an early spring enrollee. He's the 6th rated quarterback coming out of high school, according to ESPNU. But it appears to be Tommy Rees and Brian Kelly staying up countless hours now to reposition the offense, schematically completely changed the mindset and the philosophy from Golson's abilities to Tommy Rees, who's a pocket passer without the running threat available at the quarterback position. Notre Dame fans, college football fans, would love to hear from you on the Golson situation and where Notre Dame goes from here on Mark Rogers TV.